Are you ready for your exam, Ved?
I don't know, Professor Ken. Can't I have some more time to study?
Well, you already missed the exam 2 days ago because you were sick. Today is your last chance, so please turn on your computer and take the exam now. There are 50 questions and you have 1 hour to finish. I'll wait next door in my office, so when you're done, come and let me know. Good luck.
Thank you, Professor. I'll do my best.
Bad timing, Ved. Come in here and we can wait for the electricity to come back on.
Okay, Professor. Professor Ken, I don't really understand what electricity is. What do we need it for? And why does it sometimes just turn off like this?
Look around at everything you use in the day, Ved. Electricity is all around us. We use it for lighting and to run appliances like computers and mobile phones. Almost everything we use runs on electricity.
I guess that's true. But what exactly is it, Professor?
Well, electricity is easy to use, but not so easy to understand. I think it will help for me to tell you about the history of electricity. Did you know that lightning is a form of electricity?
Well, I guess I knew that. I know you can get a bad shock if you get hit by lightning.
That's right, Ved. Lightning can be very dangerous. In fact, the man who proved that lightning was a form of electricity was very lucky to survive one of his most famous experiments.
What happened, Professor?
Well, more than 250 years ago, in 1752, a famous American named Benjamin Franklin flew a kite in the middle of a lightning storm. The wet kite string allowed lightning to travel down it and hit a metal key he tied to the end. And sparks went from the key into his hand where he could feel the electrical current.
That sounds dangerous.
It definitely was, Ved. But Franklin was lucky not to receive a deadly shock. Through his experiment, he figured out that lightning is a form of electricity and that it can flow through the same materials down to the ground. He used this idea to invent lightning rods, which are all steel poles that attract lightning, so it doesn't hit other things that could be damaged, like houses and trees.
That's a pretty good idea.
It sure was. Another scientist named Henry Cavendish worked in England to measure the abilities of different materials to conduct electricity. This was called conductivity.
Is that like a train conductor, Professor?
Not exactly. Different materials can let electrical currents flow through them at different rates. Most wire is made of copper because it has very high conductivity. Plastic, on the other hand, has almost no conductivity. It's called an insulator, and it can be used to cover the outsides of wires so you can touch them without getting a shock.
Oh, I see. Hey, if people can get shocks, does that mean our bodies are conductors too?
Excellent, Ved. That's exactly right. Our bodies hold a lot of water, and water can conduct electricity well. That's why you must never go swimming during a lightning storm, since lightning could hit the water and give you a bad shock.
I knew that, but I never knew why. Thanks, Professor.
For the next 200 years, many other inventors and scientists worked on different ways to manage and use electricity. For example, an Italian inventor named Alessandro Volta invented the chemical battery which can produce electricity.
Was that a long time ago?
It sure was. He invented batteries in the year 1800. A few years later, other scientists invented the electrical generator, which is a machine that produces electricity by spinning magnets and wires.
Wow. What about electrical lights?
Those came later. Have you ever heard of Thomas Edison?
The name sounds familiar.
It should. He was a really famous American inventor. He tried to make light bulbs by sending electrical current through really thin fibers that would glow when the electricity heated them up. In 1879, he produced the first stable light bulb. And now we have electrical lighting all over the world.
How is there enough electricity to power all those lights?
Great question, Ved. An inventor named Nikola Tesla, who once worked with Edison, invented a machine called the AC generator. This was used to produce massive amounts of electricity. For example, by turning the generator using the power of waterfalls.
Waterfalls can make electricity?
Anything that can push a generator to make it turn can make electricity. Other generators are powered by burning oil, gas, or coal. All these generators around the world can produce enough electricity for all of us to use.
To run our computers and lights and TVs, right?
Exactly. Most people in the world are lucky enough to have electricity in their houses, at work, and around their cities. However, we should make sure that we use it wisely and don't waste this important energy.
Do you mean things like remembering to turn off the lights when you leave a room? And not leaving your computer on all night?
Exactly. Those are great ideas for conserving electricity. Where did you hear about them?
My father always tells me to do these things, but I never really understood why until just now. I guess I didn't know that people had to build machines to produce electricity. I thought it just came from the power lines.
Well, it does. But it costs money to produce and it can sometimes cause pollution. So we should always use it wisely, just like your father told you.
Professor Ken, the lights came on. I guess the electricity is back on, right?
It sure is. And you know what that means?
Back to my exam?
You got it.
This is one time I wish we didn't have any electricity.
Come on, get it done. But if you ever have any other questions about electricity, don't be afraid to ask me.
I won't. Thanks, Professor.
Now I can get back to my experiment.